Okay, we're here at the UCSC Farm and Garden, getting towards the end of summer, last week in August, and we're here to talk about fruit, of course, but ripe fruit. And let me just say a few things here in that regard. The journey from the delicate blooms of spring through fruit set, sizing, coloring, and maturation, firm, juicy, sweet fruit late summer, fall, can be quite an arduous journey, even an odyssey of sorts. And it's dependent on a number of factors. Some under your control. Was your care of the tree that year spot on? Did you tenderly tend the trees? Say that fast 5 times. Tenderly tend the trees. This you can control. And then, of course, something you can't control, the weather. Did you have a good winter chill to induce big bloom with your trees? Did you have a relatively warm, sunny spring during the bloom period, little or no rain to aid pollination and fruit set? Did you have good warm weather? That first 30 days after fruit set is really pivotal in terms of fruit size, very much so, and also somewhat fruit quality. You need temperate conditions. That's not too hot, not too cold. Too hot, the tree uses too much of its resources just to stay alive, respiration, metabolic activities, and not enough energy resources go into size in the fruit. Too cool, cold, and cloudy, not enough photosynthesis, not a good size fruit. So did your first 30 days after fruit set go well? How was the midsummer period? Warm and sunny, I hope, to size and to start to develop sugar. And sometimes with particularly fall varieties of apples, that last month before harvest is really a critical time in terms of finishing the fruit off. By finishing the fruit off, I mean good cosmetic color and the rise of sugars, soluble solids, as they say, like that, give you that good crisp, juicy taste like that. And that's facilitated by warm, sunny days and cool, starry nights. Actually, it doesn't matter if the nights are starry or not, but that's a nice image, a la Van Gogh and all that. So it's a bit of an odyssey. It's a bit of a journey. In any given year, it can go good or bad. Let me just say, in the year of 2022, this has been a most excellent fruit year across the board. It's rare that all your species of fruits, apricots, plums, pluots, peaches, nectarines, apples, and pears, do really well. Well, that's the situation we have this year, and it's really good, really rewarding. Again, some of that is under our control. A lot of it is about the weather. So there are a number of ways. One is you really haven't tasted an apple variety or a variety of any other fruit until you've had it fresh off the tree, all kinds of yum like that. And you, as a home grower or even a small-scale direct marketer, have the ability to, let me finish my apple bite here. I'm good to go. You haven't really had any given variety of a fruit until you've had it fresh off the tree. And as a home grower or small direct marketer, you can do that. You can wait. You can afford your apples really good, what I call hang time, because there's mature, ripe, and then dead ripe with apples in this case. And as a home grower, you can wait till it's dead ripe. Give it good hang time on the tree. As a marketer, and these apples have to go somewhere else, you have to pick more towards mature. And apples are really good, not all fruits are, particularly peaches, really lousy at maturing off the tree. When you pick a peach, it's not going to get any sweeter off the tree. But when you pick an apple at a mature stage, it will continue to develop both color and sugar. But the best is to allow good hang time. And so you need to be able to assess, when is an apple ripe? So there are a number of means that you can do that. And one is simply using instrumentation. A thing called a refractometer, sometimes referred to as a Brix meter, measures the sugars in an apple or any other fruit, and you can use that as a gauge of when to harvest. There are a number of visual empirical things. Some involve aroma, and that also really help you to determine when is an apple ripe. I think what we'll do now is just pause for a minute, And I'd like to introduce you to a friend. I'm here with friend, a longtime volunteer at the Farm and Garden, and apple or any other fruit expert, Sharon Zhou. Let me just say regarding her contribution to the efforts here at the Farm and Garden and her outreach to the public, she would be categorized as the river rafters, mountain climbers, and road bike racers say beyond category. She's going to tell you about how to use a very simple, accessible instrument to get an accurate reading on the sugar content, sometimes called the Brix, on apples. So take it away, Sharon.
Thank you, Orin. Good morning. This is the favorite time of the year, apple harvest season. So I'm going to show you how to do a Brix reading of apples or pears, or even peaches and plums, all kinds of fruit. So I'm going to show you how to measure the sugar content of your fruit. This tool is called a refractometer, and it takes Brix reading. So people generally think of Brix reading as the sugar content, but actually Brix reading measures the total dissolved solids. So it actually includes sugar, starches, minerals, vitamins, other phytochemicals, or even protein. This is a very inexpensive device. You could buy it online for as little as $20 these days. And it does not require battery to operate. It's just strictly an optical device. So this is what it looks like. And then I have this other tool, which is an adapted vice grip with two like spoon-like pieces for the jaw. And if you don't have this tool, an ordinary vice grip will do the job as well. A squeeze, you could see fruit juice coming out. And I've cut some apple slices just a couple minutes ago. So what I'm going to do is, so with this device, you put the fruit in the jaw, and then you just gently, slowly squeeze. I'm going to squeeze directly onto the refractometer. Okay, a couple drops is sufficient. Then I'm going to close the lid, and I can look into it, and right now, so I look towards the light. Right now it's showing me the reading to be 15. So that would be 15 degree Brix, which is equivalent to 15% sugar. So in terms of the Brix reading, for apples, they might range from about 10 to 15. 15 would be pretty high for any store-bought apples. Also, early season apples tend to be in a slightly lower range. But for late season, heirloom varieties, some of them can go as high as 20–25%. The highest I've ever measured is 28%. That's kind of considered off the chart high. Pears might range somewhere, again, in the 10 to 15% range. I've seen cherry juice measuring 31%. So that's about the range. You could do the same thing with like carrots, and each fruit. Don't compare the different fruit, but for like a certain produce like carrot, you could compare what you buy in the store to what you grow yourself, and it's a good indication of nutrient density. After you do this reading, it's really important, before you do the next reading, it's really important to clean the surface. So squirt it with a little water, and wipe it dry with a clean cloth. It's really important that it's dry, because if you have a couple drops of water on it, then you put another drop of fruit juice, it's going to dilute your the sugar content of the fruit juice you're trying to measure by as much as 50%. The same thing goes for the vice grip. And in between these measuring sessions, I clean these really, really well. But just in between fruit, give it a good wipe.
Okay, there's instrumentation to determine Brix or soluble solid sugar content, and that's all well and good. But there are a bunch of empirical, simple, observational things you can do with apples in terms of when are they ripe. Again, give them good hang time to afford yourself the full robustness of whatever the variety is. Okay, what are some of the factors? Well, there's the calendar dates. Yep, last year I picked my Chehalis about the 3rd week in August into the middle of September. And let me just say, this year we're about 3 weeks early, so that calendar, you should keep records so you have a general idea of when your individual varieties of fruit might ripen. But it's also got a lot of flux, 2-3 weeks. Is it a cool summer? Is it a warm summer? So there's calendar dates. And then a very reliable and rewarding way of assessing apple ripeness is to go out into the trees and look at them incrementally over a period of days and weeks, and look at the color. You can tell a lot about an apple's ripeness by its color. Now you have 2 basic categories, bicolored apples and one-color apples. Let's look at a few here and look at the range from not quite ready to really ready. Here I have a very early variety, as I mentioned in my little riff. It's called Chehalis. Let's put them on the board here. And note, this is probably a wildling or a found seedling out of an orchard of Golden Delicious in, Chehalis, Washington. And it's an apple I like. Now, I don't love it, but I like it. I like it because it's everything you like about a good Golden Delicious. And let me stipulate, Golden Delicious is not a half-bad variety when you grow it yourself and you give it good hang time and you eat it dead ripe off the tree. At the supermarket, not. So Chehalis, it's early, it's light, crisp, juicy, and sweet. It bakes a really mean pie. By that I mean nice pie. It's a really good baking apple. Very short window when it's ripe. It is an apple that at its best is yellow, golden yellow, and sometimes it'll even develop a little blush of pink on the shoulders, indicating more sugar. More sugar is better. So here we have a range. This is an apple that's not quite ripe. You can see the green here, and then you can see the golden amber here, yellow to golden. Let me also just say Chehalis can be great. Chehalis is a bit of a tricky apple to manage for true hang time, good maturation, ripeness. It goes from green, and it's all right, but nothing to write home about, to over mature in a really short window. When it gets over mature, like a lot of early apples, it goes immediately to mush. But this would be a good range from green to golden here. Now let's look at a couple other, I'm going to say, better, more robust apples. Let's look at a variety that is an example of, if you want to avail yourself of this variety, and this is a Japanese variety called Hatsuaki, then you're just sure going to have to grow it yourself. And even at that, it'll take a bit of a search on the internet to find a nursery that produces these trees. You'll never see it in commerce. Hatsuaki, it's small genetically. Again here, let's look at the spectrum. We go from, it's a two-tone apple, so you have the foreground color and the background color. The foreground color needs to go from this dull to red rich to even more so. And that's important. But what's more important with two-toned apples is the background color. Really a good indicator of ripeness. You go from dull and green to yellow to warm and golden. Either of these are good. This is even better. So you look at an apple, foreground and background color. Again, background is a little more indicative. Let's look at one of the better, richer apples on the planet. There's an apple called Cox's Orange Pippin, and there are many derivatives of it. And it's also an apple that lends itself to breeding, and there are many varieties that are great, and particularly breeders seem to be able to nail it with rich, robust taste on the Cox's types when they cross Golden Delicious with Cox's Orange. And this is actually the parent of Cox's Orange, Ripston Pippin. And here again we have the spectrum of really green, not even appealing to the eye, getting there, really getting there as well. So you do well to wait to this stage to avail yourself of the full robustness of any given variety. So color, range of colors, background color going from green to yellow, foreground color getting richer. Some of the factors you want to figure for maturation. The other thing is just a real low-tech equivalent to the Brix meter or the refractometer. If you give your apple a little pinch with the thumb, maybe we can hear this, maybe not, it should indent. Now you do that times 10 and you've got applesauce, so be careful. But it's a good sampler. Does it dent? You get a little click there. It's probably right. Other factors include seed color, and most apples go from either a light white, beige, brown to a dark brown or black. Here we have a couple of examples here along the spectrum. This is the white, beige, not quite ready. This is the darker black, good to go. So there are a number of factors, but what's the best one? This one. And you can see in here, another indicator of ripeness is the richness, the amber as it were, of the flesh in a little juice, and sometimes you'll even see these little sugar swirls. And it indicates high sugar, which is good. Let me just say incidentally that an indicator of unripe is when you, and I tell this to the students and apprentices a lot, when you come to a tree and you see 5 or 6 apples on the ground with one bite out of it, not ready. So good luck.